Yo, what is going on YouTube? It is your boy Skyrats here, back at it again with another video. Today with the S-Broly guide. Now, this is gonna be one of the other characters I give you guys a guide on because I feel like I also love S-Broly a lot. Like I love this character to death. So yeah. Eventually I will come out with a base Vegeta guide that will probably be like the last guide for my main team, and I might cover some other characters, but for now I got the S-Broly guide because this is also one of the characters I main and I fucking love this character, so I feel like I'd show you guys and I mean I'm not monetized, so don't worry about the curse words, but yeah, so without further ado, let's get right into it. So obviously we're gonna go over the normals, and you know, if you live under a rock, you know that S-Broly's normals are crazy good. He has a lot of crazy normals, man. His character's normals are ridiculous. So yeah, so let's go over a couple of them. Obviously the 2L. Now typically most characters have a fast 5L, but S-Broly is not one of those characters. Matter of fact, his 5L is 10 frames, and it is -7 on block. So it's unsafe to do, and it's unsafe to end your string in. Now, obviously, you could do something like this to beta reflect, but obviously that's not really the best reflect bait in my opinion. But you know, his 5L isn't fast, so you typically want to be mashing 2L instead, as it has really good upward range. Its grounded range isn't the best, so don't mash this out like crazy, but definitely mash it if someone were to 6M on you, like for instance something like this, like these situations, because it will work, trust me. You'll get a lot of mileage out of this. But you will have to be mashing it though like crazy. So yeah. So his 2L is really good. His 2H is also the same thing. It's just as good as his 2L with the range, the upward range. Even the grounded range is pretty never mind. The grounded range is okay. Or maybe not. It's actually a lot better than I thought. Yeah. Alright. That 2H is pretty good. It's not bad. It's a generic 2H. Has really good upward range though, really good. 5H is also a good button, and it also armors through things. It only has like 2 hits of armor, I think, or 1 hit. I think it's 2 hits of armor though. It's 2 hits of armor. As you can see, Gogeta pretty much beats it. Well, I mean, that time I did it early, but yeah, it's a good bust out move every now and then. So definitely worth also pressing, but I mean it's not a reversal, so don't get any ideas. It's not a reversal, so yeah. 5M is also a good button too. 5M is ridiculous. It's a really good button. Like look how far that goes. Because I mean Broly does lunge forward, but still the range on this is crazy. So definitely bust this out in neutral whenever you can. But obviously like where I'm at, like in this kind of range, because it will hit. 2M is also a good button. It goes up to 4 stomps. Obviously unsafe on block, but you have up to 4 stomps. After the second stomp, you can't combo into it, like you can't jump cancel. Can't do 5M after. So you have to end it with like a grab or something, usually. But yeah, 2M's a good button too. I'll explain more of this button in block strings. But yeah, this button's good too. His 5LL looks like something like this. So yeah, it's a cool looking 5LL. I don't think I went over Trunks's, but if I did, I think I might have showed you guys like this. Whatever. All I know is that like his 5LL, I think I only showed like the block strings parts for it. S-Broly doesn't really have any block strings. This is just kind of like one of his buttons. So yeah. Yeah. So yeah. And obviously his 5LL isn't really the best on block either. And matter of fact, none of his buttons are good on block. Look at all the frame data. So, really bad buttons. Really bad. And his Key Blast is also minus. So, yeah. But again, we'll be going over all this stuff in block strings, so do not fear. His air buttons are ridiculously good, too. JL is really, really good. Although it's not as fast as, you know, your typical 6-frame JL, you know what I'm saying? Or good as your multi-hitting 5Ls, but this one has good range, so it makes up for it. It's really good. It's a really good button. Trust me when I say this. And take my word for it. It's a really good button. JH is just pretty standard, although it does have fat range, but it doesn't really... Actually, it's kind of okay. Trunks is better. At least his JH is better. So yeah, that's Broly's normals. Now onto his next stuff, his specials. So his specials, he has the ground pound. They all work differently. Punches the damn ground with friction. The light is pretty fast. Comes out 17 frames. 15 is the fastest. Yeah, 15 is the fastest. Medium is a bit more slower. Comes out in like 20 frames. Fastest 21. And EX comes out just as fast. They all have different properties too. Light just, you know, does this. Doesn't really give you any properties. Medium gives you a wall splat. Get a free combo. So yeah. EX is the same thing. It also gives you a combo. So yeah, it also gives you a combo too. So yeah. Now his grabs. We're going to be explaining this in block strings, but for now... Oh yeah, and by the way, the ground pounds are safe. This is the light grab. The light grab grabs grounded. Comes out in 26 frames. Is that right? 26, right? 26 frames. It's relatively slow. You get a full combo in the corner, because it gives you wall splat. If you do it mid-screen, you have to either do a super or DHC. But it's okay, it gives you sliding knockdown off your DHC too, so don't worry about that. Next up is the medium grab, which grabs in the air. Which you also get a combo off of in the corner. So yeah, you also get a combo off it in the corner, but it grabs in the air. So it's kind of the same thing. EX grab grabs on both. Grabs grounded and in the air. It's also used as an anti-air. Let me demonstrate. So let's put this man on Super Dash. I did that wrong. I timed it wrong. So yeah, it's an anti-air. It grabs a Super Dash, grabs anything that involves doing stuff in the air. So yeah, pretty good button. Well, pretty good special. So yeah, and you get a free combo. Did I mention that? Did I mention you get a free combo? I don't know if I mentioned that yet. As you can see, I'm trying to do that hard Broly combo, but you know, I'm just showing you guys examples. But yeah, get a combo off that. He also cannot perform, and he cannot perform the grabs in the air except for his J2H, which we'll go over in a bit. But it's mainly used as a combo tool. You can also use to grab people out of it. I've done it several times. You can grab people, and you get a combo off it too if you grab. But this is more of a combo extension. So you usually don't use this all the time, like in neutral, unless you're like baiting a read or you're doing a very specific setup. I may go over in a bit. So yeah. And his other specials, which is his Eraser Blow, which goes upward, and it's also safe on block, gives you good pushback, so you can set this up for a 5M in case they want to mash, or a 5L. I think 5L reaches here too, if I'm being honest. Well, this is a Gogeta Blue. Yeah, this is Gogeta Blue, so... Gogeta Blue does reach pretty good, but for the most part, you can set up with punishes. So yeah, you can set up with punishes with this kind of stuff, but it's a very good button. However, it does have a gap on block, which again we'll go over, but it does have gaps. I'll go over that. He also has another grab. This grab also gives you a combo, switches sides, and if you're in the corner, you get a free JS. So yeah, this also combos, and it's primarily used as a combo tool, but if you're in the corner, you can use this on your opponent to turn the tables. See what I did there? That's it, turn the tables. I'm sorry. And he also has a beam. His beam is pretty slow, I'm not gonna lie. Fastest is 24, it's not a great beam. It's pretty slow, but he can do different actions off it. He can do a racer blow, he can do the grab, he can also do this, which is his 6H. Did I mention that his 6H is also a grab, and you can also get a combo off it? If you do a racer blow into the other grab. So yeah, 6H is also a good grab too. Although you can't really like combo off it crazy, it's primarily used as a combo tool. Again, it's one of those buttons that are just used as a combo tool. So yeah, we'll go over that stuff in strings. So yeah, so that's everything to our boy S-Broly. And I should have mentioned the 6M, I mean, it's average. I mean, I don't know if anyone really cares about that, but there you go. Anyways, Key Blast is also negative. It's unsafe, but again, we'll go over it in strings, because why not? JS, unsafe. Again, I sound like a broken record. It's also used as a combo tool. You don't really bust this out, but I will go over its uses in a bit. So yeah, that's everything to S-Broly's specials. Now, let's go over lock strings, my favorite part of this game. So, Broly has unsafe buttons. I don't know if I made that obvious by now, but his buttons are unsafe. You cannot end your strings in anything. However, you can set your opponent up with mind games. Now, your only safe move on block is your stop. I mean, your, well, headbutt thing. So, this is the only thing that's safe on block, no matter what you do. It's always going to be safe, no matter how you end it. So, this is the button you typically want to end your strings in. I sounded British there for a moment. Why did that happen? So, this is what you typically end your strings in. So, and, you know, of course, there's no gaps in it. So, it's only if you do the light, though. If you do the medium, there is gaps. The medium will always have a gap, and so I think so does, no, the EX doesn't either. Yeah. So, yeah. Definitely end your strings in the light. I don't see why you would end it in your EX. Just do it in your medium. I mean, on your light. My bad. I almost just made you guys lose. You can also delay the medium a bit for a reflect bait. If I can do it right. Can delay it a bit. So yeah, stuff like that. Remember, mind games, boys, mind games. However, with this kind of stuff too, you can also do like reflect baits, like ending your strings in 5S, seeing if they'll reflect. Don't forget that Eraser Blow does have a gap on string no matter what. However, this does beat out mashing. This does beat mashing. I will let you guys know that. This beats mashing. So if anyone tries to contest, they get beat for it. And you get a free combo on them. So, yeah, always keep that in mind. Because remember, mind games. Beam also jails on... Oh, it doesn't. It doesn't. It actually doesn't. I lied to you guys. It does not jail. So again, mind games, because I mean, again, I don't think this is the best option to go for, because your opponent can just reflect. Your opponent can just reflect this, so there is like kind of like no point of going for this. Yeah, there's no point of that. So don't go for that string. I guess just use it as a reflect bait or whatever, or like the bait mashing, since you do get this and this. So, yeah, definitely do that if you want to bait out mashing. Another reflect bait you can go for is doing stuff like this. Ending it in your 2L. Literally not going for your string. You can even whiff the grab. Oh, you can't really whiff the grab. You have to delay your grab, though, in order to actually get the grab off. Well, I didn't have to do any delaying there. You can also get a sliding knockdown off it, if I should mention. So, yeah, you have nothing to worry about. So, ending your strings in key blasts and in eraser blow is the safer way of doing it. Stomp is just a way of just ending your string and just continuing pressure with assists. I messed that up. I also messed that up. Yeah, I also messed that up. Maybe Go Tanks 8 isn't the best example, since you do have to set that up. So I'll just do like an easy example. Mess that up. Mess that up. Mess that up. Sorry, guys. You guys are just seeing my fumbles. I'm very sorry. So yeah, I mean, the 2M wasn't real, but you guys get the point. I mean, you quite literally just do all that stuff. So yeah, you want to usually end your strings. You can either end your string, continue pressure. It's entirely up to you. The mind game behind this is to go for grabs in your strings. So as you're making your string safe like 20 times, eventually you got to get a grab in because you want that damage. So the best ways to do your grab, in my opinion, is off a 2L, off a 2H, and even off your key blast because they might reflect anyways. These are usually the best ways to do your grabs and get that damage in. It's not big damage. I mean, it could be big damage. It's entirely up to you, but, you know. So yeah, don't forget, always get those grabs in your strings. Now, don't be too predictable with the grabs, because remember, they are very, very, very slow. They're not the fastest grabs. They're not fast. So, opponent with decent reactions, or opponent that's very button mashy, they will mash out of this, so be a little careful. And do remind you that these grabs do not have armor on them. So they could easily get beat out with a simple mash. Remember that. So be a little careful. Don't always go for the grab. That's why I'm telling you guys this. Don't always go for the grab. You have to condition the opponent for them to not mash, to not do anything crazy. Once you get them reflecting, that's when the party begins. So remember that. As remember, S. Broly has many ways of baiting reflects and baiting tons of stuff, man. He's very good at this. As remember, he is a grappler. People are scared of the grabs. They're not scared of this character, they're scared of your grabs. Remember that. The character isn't scary, the grabs are the scary part of it. And seeing the damage and the long combos are the scariest part of this character. So yeah, either end your strings to continue pressure, or go ahead and try to bait stuff. Be a little read heavy. Because this character rewards you for baiting reads heavy. Remember that. This character rewards you heavy for it. I messed that up, but you get the idea. So yeah. So it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff too. JS, I should mention, does have a little bit of utility. It can bait Spark, but I don't see the point of anyone really going for it. Because I mean, like, let me show a little example here. I'm trying to show like a good example on how to do it. Okay, point is, you actually can spark bait with this. You actually can. Yeah, see, like, he got hit. Yeah, you can spark bait with this, but again, I don't see the point of that because it's very risky. It's very risky to go for. So you can just end your string like this, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't jail. No, it does. No, it does. I actually forgot. It does jail, actually. So yeah, you could do that, I guess, but again, the utility isn't really all there, so it's really not worth going for. It's really not. But again, read heavy, go ahead and go for it. I mean, you know, no one's stopping you from being an S-Broly player, you know? We're all a little bit of monkey brain in there sometimes. So yeah, J2H is also good for reads too, but we'll go over that in the setups, which we actually will go over right now. So, for the setups, S-Broly has one infamous setup I'm sure we all know about. We all know about this setup. Let's not even deny it. Let's not act like we don't know this setup. We've seen this setup too many times. We've seen this setup too many times. So, to do this setup, it has to be off the grab where he throws you up in the air. Afterward, you press 2L after the entire animation finishes. You could delay it to so yeah, you could delay it to get a little higher, but I would suggest 2Ling right away, because your grab won't really reach from that kind of range. So your best option is to just do this, right? And you have to wait. Yeah, you have to be a little patient there. But let's make the opponent up tech. Or whatever. Look, listen. You guys get the idea. Well, actually, no, you guys don't, because I have to show y'all. So typically, the grab setup doesn't do anything crazy, but you can do it for like a super hard read in case the opponent up techs. Now, what happens if they down tech? What happens if they down tech? Well, what should I do if they down tech, Sky? What should I do? What should I do if they down tech? What if they just down tech and just say, man, screw your pressure? Well, it's very simple. You just continue your string. And if they get hit by your 2M, well then, as an S-Broly player, you just blow them up. That's all you gotta do. Or, if you wanna, you can just grab them. So remember, read heavy. I've been saying this since the very beginning. I sound like a broken record, but trust me, you have to read your opponent pretty well with this kind of setup. The reason this setup works is because typically when people go for this, they usually end their string in a Dragon Rush or in a grab. So this is why the setup is a bit scary. Because I could just end it in my string and, you know, that's it. You know, I'll just end it. You know, I don't know why you're mashing. You know, I'm just ending I'm ending my string. I don't know what kind of setup you're talking about, sir. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm only ending my string here. That's it. So yeah. So this is a setup you can actually go for. So this is the infamous setup, basically. This is probably the only setup I'll go over since S-Broly doesn't have too many setups. So yeah. Now it's time to go over Oki. Now, what kind of Oki can S-Broly go for? Now, if I'm being honest, S-Broly's Oki isn't too great. His Oki isn't really the best. Now, we will go over his level 3 Oki though. We will. We'll go over his supers in the last part, but we will go over his Oki. But actually, let's go over the supers first. He has 2 supers. Level 1 being the double, double Rasengan. Double green Rasengan. Does good damage. He also has another super, which is when he needs to take a shit. Basically, he screams and does a temper tantrum for like a brief moment. Everything falls on the ground. Little balls. You can also use this as some Oki for S-Broly. You can use this as an Oki setup. This is one of the things you can set up for Oki. But I mean, I don't know why S-Pro players go for this because it's kind of pointless. But it's a bit unseeable. Usually, it's a bit unseeable. So yeah, it's a bit unseeable because S-Pro can go for a grab or he can just go for a 2M because you won't be able to see the 2M in that explosion. But yeah, as an S-Pro player, I don't go for this setup. It's really pointless. You're only going for this setup if you're really like trying to go for a 2M here. It's a really pointless setup. I don't know why S-Pro players go for this. I really don't. It's a really pointless setup. It's such a pointless setup. like let me try to set this up like properly. I guess. I mean, you could do that. It hits them if they're not blocking, and it will put them on block anyways. Like let me see. Oopsies. Ah, my super. Like, I mean, let me try to set this up. I gotta set this up properly, because I'm messing this up badly. I don't ever go for this setup. It's kind of the only reason I'm messing it up in the first place. Yeah, so the first time they got hit, that was supposed to be them blocking. I'm pretty sure that's how that worked. But yeah, I don't ever go for that setup. I don't. It's kind of pointless. Maybe I will try to go. Maybe I'll try to look into the setup a bit more and make a separate video on that. But for now, just know that setup is a little pointless. There's no point. Like that other setup I told you guys about, you can just do that. It's way better. Obviously that one takes a bit more time to set up since you do need like a certain combo to do it, but it's whatever. So yeah, and then his level 3. Personally, one of my favorite level 3s in the whole game. Right next to UI Goku. It's a really cool looking level 3, but you also get a power up buff. So this buffs level Broly. I said that in the last video. This buffs Broly from 5% from regular damage to 21% damage. So he does even more damage in this state now. And this was a buff they gave him, by the way. So look at that damage. 6.7. 6.7, by the way. Compared to this. 6.7 and 5.8. So big difference. So whenever you're playing as Broly, always go for the level 3 whenever you have enough meter. I'd say if you have about 3.5 bars or 4 bars is when you should go for it. I wouldn't say spend all your meter on the level 3 because you might not even have meter and you won't be able to do your EX grab. So definitely not worth doing all the time, but definitely do it if you have 3.5 bars or 4 bars. That's the best way to go for it. Now, now we get to the Oki part. Now we get to the Oki. So that first thing I was showing you guys with the eraser blow setup, you could set that up, or the eraser explosion. You could set that up, but again, I don't really use that setup at all. It's just whatever. I don't ever use it. It's kind of pointless. The setup that I showed you guys was part of the Oki setup. So we're gonna actually show you guys some Oki. Now, as Broly can set up a 6M setup, which I will show you guys real quick. That's +3. Gotta set this up properly. Now, as you guys can see, I got the combo. Why? Because You'll see in a moment. Now you see that frame advantage on the bottom of 27 on the attack startup? That's 6. Broly's 2L is a 6 frame. So, if you do the math correctly, you can link that. And that means it's a 1 frame link. So, I think it's only about 1 frame to actually do it, if I'm not mistaken. It's not like you have a billion frames to combo it into each other. Like this has 15 frames, you know? 15 frames, but I can set that up because it's plus 6, so it's a 1 frame link. If the opponent gets hit by the 6M, you get a free combo. So yeah, it's a really meaty setup. And I think it also baits reversals, if I'm not mistaken. It might not. Don't take my word for it. It might not. Because I've tested this on reversals before, but I haven't done this setup in a while. I also did that wrong, by the way. It does. So yeah, it's a good setup. Definitely go for this when you have the chance. So to properly do this setup, you have to whiff 2L as soon as they go on the floor. As soon as they go on the floor, as soon as you go on the floor, immediately whiff 2L and then go for 6M right after. With practice, you will get this down. And it also baits reflect. I think it might actually bait reflect. The only way to find out, am I right? So the opponent is basically forced to respect this. They're basically forced to respect this. They're forced to respect it. Also, that didn't hit, but you guys get my point. So yeah, it's a bit hard at first, but once you start seeing the plus 6, that's when you know you're doing it right. And you also gotta make sure the opponent, you gotta make sure it's also not whiffing on the opponent too. So yeah, plus 4, so we're not doing it right. But you know, it takes a bit of time to get used to. Also for the record, you can do this off your grab too. You can also do this off your grab. You can also do this off the grab. Which I messed up, obviously. I messed that up. No. Oopsies. Yep. So yeah, you can also set it up with the grab too, not just off a sliding knockdown. So keep that in mind. So yeah, that's one of his it's one of the Oki setups. Another Oki setup you can go for is off his level 3. This was something they gave him. So since his 6H is able to travel further, this is actually a good setup. Since it also gives you another setup, this. Which is why if you save your meter to 4 bars, you can do this. So you can either do the grab, or since they might jump it, throw an eraser blow up in there, and you get your combo still. If you are close range, I believe you can get something. You get a little combo. But obviously you gotta be like very aware of this. You've gotta be like very aware of this. You have to be very aware of this, obviously. So yeah, don't worry about that super whiffing. You didn't see that. Um, so yeah, that's his that's pretty much his Oki. I mean, you can also do this. Can also do something like this. You can go for something like that, but I mean, again, JS is not really worth doing it half the time. It's really not. So yeah. That's pretty much all the Oki that's all the Oki I know. Now for the record, I should go over one thing. One thing. Now during the block string setup, I'll give you guys a little secret. 5H is actually a lot better than people may give it credit for. I know I was just shitting on it a little earlier, but you can actually use it to still bait mashing. Remember that. Remember what I told you guys earlier. Use this in your block strings too. You can also hold it too. I should mention that. So definitely hold it if you think your opponent's gonna mash. So yes, keep this in mind. You can do this. Alright. But you guys get it. Now for a summary. I think this character is pretty solid in the right hands of a player who understands the game really well. I think if you understand Oki, if you understand how to do block strings, if you understand the game's neutral, you can definitely get really far with this character. In this meta, he is definitely not worth it, since half the time he's getting rolled by fusions who have full screen buttons with medium scaling combos and ridiculous neutral buttons and ridiculous neutral in general, and Broly can't really keep up with all that stuff with a slow beam. The one thing that he can't keep up with though is his eraser blow and his anti-air grab, but I feel like other than that, he kind of gets held back by the entire meta himself. But I think if you don't care about the meta, he's a very fun character to pick up. I enjoyed this character a lot. I mean, he's one of my favorite characters in the entire Dragon Ball series. He's a very powerful character. He hurts when he hits you, and he's very scary to get grabbed by because you're worried about the damage and the incredibly long combos this man may put you in. So this character is definitely good in the hands of a good player, with a player with a solid understanding of the game. If you don't have a good understanding of the game, you could still have fun with the character. I'm not saying you need really good fundamentals. You have to be good with this character, you know? Like, I'm not saying all that. You can definitely enjoy this character even without all that stuff, but to really push him to the highest levels, you definitely need to have a good understanding of fighters. You definitely do, because if you're just, you know, playing the game like you're playing, you know, for example, you know, Gogeta, you're not gonna understand how to play Broly because all you do is, well, you're probably gonna try to push DP, because truth is, Broly does not have a reversal, so you have to play the game very differently. You have to be on the defensive most of the time, so you have to understand the game a lot to maximize his character's potential. That being said, I definitely do think he's worth looking into, considering he does do a lot of damage, and his synergy with different teams is really undiscovered. He has really undiscovered synergy, and I feel like that's really sad, considering every character in this game is now pretty much playable. This is the best patch we've ever had so far, despite the meta we have now. But, you know, this is definitely the best patch, in my opinion. Really good patch. It has really buffed the characters that really needed the attention. They really needed the because more characters are getting picked up day by day. You know, like we usually see different teams online. You know, like we're not always seeing the meta. The meta's only like for tournaments and stuff. You know, so I'm really glad that this game really looked into other characters. So definitely look into Broly's synergy. If you plan to pick this character up, test him with your team. He might actually have something for your team you don't even know he has. Who knows? This character is really good when it comes to synergy. He's really good with it. So yeah. Oh yeah, and did I forget about this super? Yeah, you can also do it's also a level 2. It also has 3 hits. You can also move it around too with your stick or your D-pad, but it's only in the air. That's it. I thought I should have mentioned that. But yeah, that'll do for this guide. Again, I gave you guys my summary on this character. I definitely think he's worth looking into if you're, trying to look for characters with good synergy. I definitely think Esperly is one of those characters. He's not too strict with meter, because all you really need is this and the EX grab. So he's not really that strict with meter, since he can already do damage without bar. I mean, half a bar is all he really needs, but that's really about it. So this character is pretty good. Pretty good when it comes to damage and all that stuff. So yeah, that'll be it for the Esperly guide. You guys made it towards the end. So this is how you play Esperly. If you guys enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and share this with your friends if they need an Esperly guide. And I will be coming out with an Esperly combo guide in the future, so definitely look out for that. The combo guides that I will release for Trunks and Esperly, and also for base Vegeta, it will not be like anything crazy, like I will put stylish combos, but I will not like put every combo in that video. It'll pretty much be the combos you need with the characters, all the rest of the stuff is up to you guys on how you want to experiment with the character. Everyone plays differently, so those combo guides won't be crazy long, like it'll be like very simple combos and stuff you can optimize, like optimal combos, and then combos you should do. So yeah, and stylish combos. I will include stylish combos, but that's about it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. Base Vegeta guide is up next. Goodbye.